And welcome back, students. Today we're going to be focusing on shake reduction. So this file, of course, will be found for you to be able to manipulate as always. And let's go ahead and get started by unlocking our background layer here. And when I'm talking about shake reduction, let me just grab the zoom tool here. If I look at, for example, this hand here, you can see how the image is slightly blurry and it looks like it's kind of jostled a little bit here. And that's because when the camera went and took this picture, the exposure detected a little bit of movement, and so it blurred a little bit. But we can actually go through and fix that up. So I'm just going to use Control-0. Right, and what I want to do is I have all these different tools in here available to me that I can work with. Right, but the one that we haven't really done anything with yet is here is under the Sharpen tool. We have this thing right here called Shake Reduction, which specifically targets what we're working on today. So when I click on Shake Reduction, the first thing it's going to do is it's going to produce our image here, and it's going to create a preview for us. All right. Now, it automatically tries to take its best guess of to where we want. So in here, of course, is our image that it has tried to reduce it. Now, if you look at it, you can see there is some things that have been kind of crisped up a little bit, some things that have not. Right? But we can go ahead and manipulate these different values in here to try and create a better quality image. So if I zoom in a little bit here, you can still see we have some of that ongoing. But we don't want that. I can use the blur estimation tool right here, and I can click and drag over an area, and you can see that it will try to pull some of the information in as it tries to fill this information in. And Photoshop does a good job by default of fixing some of this, but you can tell like down here it looks kind of bad, then up here it's still kind of blurry. So we're going to fix that up right now. All right, let's start by opening up the advanced window here, and you can see that it has things like show blur estimated regions, and you can see when I did that, I have this window here, and this is where it tried to take a guess of where to do the best blurring for reduction purposes. So what I want to do is actually switch over the hand tool and grab this piece right here, and I want to get that four corners there and drag it so it's right over top of the ring. I want it to change so that way that ring is the center focus. It's going to go ahead and render. And you can see that it has re-rendered the image now, and you see it cleaned up these beads a little bit. They're not quite as bad. And it has also changed the blurriness of some of these beads up here. The next thing to focus on here is to look over here in this advanced window. You notice we have this, it's called blur estimation regions. Right now there's only one. Now we can of course go through and manually create more of these, or we can let Photoshop go ahead and suggest regions to add. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on that, and you can see it draws one. And what it does is going to go ahead and re-render stuff based upon those regions there. And you notice when I did that, it cleaned it up a little bit. All right, everything is looking a little bit more crisp now, but we could still do with a few more regions. So if I click it again, it's going to add another suggested region up there. And you can see it's thinking as it go ahead and pulls information from the entire surrounding area. And it might just take it a second to fully pull in all that information, especially when you have a lot more colors and stuff like that. It takes a little bit more time for it to pull all the information and analyze it. And you can see it cleaned that up. And I'm going to go ahead and add another suggested blur region. All right, and there it goes. And it's going ahead and re-render. And it has cleaned up our image pretty nicely now by this point. So now we've done it. See, of course, you can mess around with these values here as well in order to increase the size of the blur boundary, for example, which you notice if I do that, it'll redraw on that individual blur there. Right? It's not going to do the whole thing, but it will redraw on the individual one. So for example, if I wanted to look at one of these here, for example, and I wanted to decrease artifact suppression, I can do that, and it will go through and redraw these images based upon what I want them to do. Now, once you've done that and you have everything all kind of cleaned up a little bit, the next thing to do is we're just going to go up here and click on OK. I'm just going to wait for this to kind of finish its little re-rendering over here. And just click on OK. And then it's going to go ahead and apply that shake reduction that we've done with those 4 traces. Right. And now here's our image with all of that blur reduction done. And if we were to take a look at this, with the before and after. So if I just do a Control-Z and then just go ahead and redo that, so I just step forward again, you can see the differences between the two of them. All right, so we've done that. So now, next thing, what have you guys do on your own, go ahead and apply a couple different filters here if you want, or go ahead and apply in some of these different effects just to see what they can do. Maybe you want to play around with a couple of these other ones, so go ahead and play around with those. In addition, I also want you to go off and find your own image that you can apply the shake reduction property to. All right, and make sure you have in there both your image file and your Photoshop file so I can see the before and the after. That concludes all for today, folks. Until next time.